Brian Ortega got the job done over the weekend over Yair Rodriguez, and I was impressed. Not only was I impressed, but I was surprised. I wasn't counting out Brian Ortega because when you watch this sport long enough, you know that not only can anything happen, it is chaos, it is fighting. That's the nature of the sport. But Brian Ortega has a very legitimate, seasoned grappling game. His grappling, when Brian Ortega is on, when Brian Ortega is focused and his life is, headed in the right direction, he's not distracted over here and distracted over there, he is a dangerous problem for anyone. And all this talk about he hasn't won a fight since 2020, I hate those kind of talking points because if you really dig down deeper and you look at his record since 2020, he's only had 2 fights. He's just been inactive. That's all it is. And the 2 fights that he had and lost were one against Alexander Volkanovski, which for me, there's no shame in that. Everybody loses to Alexander Volkanovski, you get me, until recently, right? And then Yair Rodriguez, which was a freak accident. He popped his shoulder, hurt himself while in an armbar, and he was escaping the armbar, and he popped his shoulder. Now, listen, the reason why I say it's a freak accident and not that Yair did it to him is because typically armbars don't attack the shoulder, for one. If it was a Kimura, that'd be maybe something different. But fair enough. Had him in the armbar, whatever. The reason why is because Brian Ortega's been there. Brian Ortega's base is jiu-jitsu. Brian Ortega, if there's anybody that's escaped an armbar attempt 1,000 times in their life, it's Ortega. You get what I'm saying? Like, this guy, it happens probably every training session he's escaping an armbar. You get what I'm trying to say? And on this one time, he injures his shoulder and isn't able to continue the fight. You get me? He has no history of that. So to me, it's just a freak accident. Now, he got back on track, and it was looking ugly, man. Yair Rodriguez was putting it on him. Yair was, beating him up, and that first round was probably a 10-8. But then Ortega got back. He actually ended that first round in mount. The second round, he got into the grappling even more. In the third round, he finishes it with the grappling, as you can see here, head and arm choke. And even in the first round, low-key, I think there was a moment where he could have had it, but there was only like 20 seconds left. So I think Ortega knew, like, okay, he's vulnerable here. Yeah, man. Beautiful work from Brian Ortega. I love it when a fighter can bounce back, silence the critics, silence the noise, and really, y'all must have forgot, you know what I mean? Have a y'all must have forgot kind of moment and remind the people of who they are. So props to Ortega. What do you do with him? Do you give him Ilia Topuria? That's a tough fight. Do I see him winning that fight? Do I favor him to win that fight? No. But again, Brian Ortega is nasty, bro. And Brian Ortega has the kind of grappling that is just as dangerous as anybody with a one-punch knockout power shot. Why do I say that? If Brian Ortega in some sort of scramble gets the clinch and all of a sudden he's on your back and, you know what I mean? That could happen. That's just as dangerous and just as quick as a knockout punch. Ortega, if he's getting ground and pounded, he could throw up an armbar. He could throw up a triangle. He could, you know what I'm saying? He has that type of, I call it mousetrap, because it just springs so quick and it's surprising. He has that kind of mousetrap finishing ability in him. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. How'd you feel about the performance? Are you happy he won? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? It truly doesn't matter. Just join the discussion. Follow for more. And if you enjoyed your time spent here, leave a like as well. Thank you. You are all appreciated.